Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Ever since the Galar region was revealed yesterday in the Pokémon Direct, I've been staring at the map for ages and wondering why it just doesn't quite make sense. We have London, where we'd assume Scotland would be. We have the Cern Abyss Giant, which should be in Dorset, which is south of London, and obviously that isn't in the right place at all. And it turns out there is a secret to the Galar region map that we've all missed, and that is we're looking at it the completely wrong way round. If you flip the picture of the Galar region map, it actually represents England and Scotland pretty well. So instead of travelling north from London up to Scotland like we probably thought we would in the UK region, we're actually travelling south from Scotland down towards London instead. And because of that, I've been able to locate a lot of different areas on this map that actually have real life locations tied to them. And there are a few outliers in there that kind of don't make sense that I will talk about at the end of the video, and there is good evidence for that as well. It's not just like a random town I've not been able to identify. And yeah guys, I've put in a lot of effort into this video and it's been one of my favourite videos I've made in a long time, so if you do enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to become a part of the Twintendo Nation and stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sword and Shield. And before we start today's video, quickly I want to do question of the day. This thing is returning. What areas do you want to see appear in the Galar region? Maybe certain caves, hidden like dungeons, certain cities you'd like to see. Let me know in the comments below, because we've only seen a bit of the Galar region so far. But without further ado guys, let's just get straight into this video. So looking at the starting town, this is one I'm not too sure where this place could be, as there isn't enough to go by from what we've seen so far in the trailer. It just looks like a typical Scottish village, and we actually had a few hints that this was Scotland, because when you look at our male and female protagonists, they have tartan on their clothing, the tartan style, and the female protagonist actually wears a hat that I talked about in my last video. It's a Scottish hat called Tam O'Shanter, so that is definitely a few hints that we start in Scotland, which personally, I love this so much. When I used to talk to my friends about England getting a region, I always said I wanted to visit the Scottish Highlands, and that's where we start, which is really cool. Now this starting town, we know it has to be in the north of Scotland and north of Fort William, as that's where we'll be heading to next. So if there are any Scottish people, or Scots, or however you want to be named, watching this video, let me know what you think the starting town could be based off, because at the moment it just looks like a Scottish village. It might not be based off anything, because like I said, there are a few areas on this map that don't really have any geographical significance. But anyway, moving on to Fort William. This is north of the region, but in terms of flipping the region, it would be going down south from Scotland, and we'll be making our way to a town called Fort William. And I struggled to identify this place for ages, as the only noticeable feature was the train station with the clock tower. However, after looking at the map for a while, I realised that the train goes through the mountain range and goes straight to the industrial city, which we'll get to later. Now Fort William is a popular tourist town, as it is close to Ben Nevis, and for those who don't know what Ben Nevis is, that is the highest mountain in the British Isles. So looking at the mountain range ahead of this town, that surely has to be based off Ben Nevis and the surrounding mountains. Now the key thing that gives Fort William its identity on the Galar region is the famous Glenfinnan Viaduct, which the train travels over, and as you can see, the viaduct is on the left hand side, and that goes straight to the industrial city, which means we can ride a train along that viaduct. And if you feel like you've seen this viaduct before and it looks familiar, it's probably because you've seen it in the Harry Potter films. So this is a very famous location, and it's no surprise that it makes it in the Galar region. So as we can see, like I said, the viaduct is on the left and it goes all the way to the industrial city. So this town is definitely Fort William. Now going past Fort William and just a bit to the right is probably the most famous place up in Scotland, and this is of course Loch Ness. In terms of the geography, this more or less matches up with the placement of the Galar region map, and it's also a common trope in Pokemon to have a legendary Pokemon appear near the starting town, such as Tapu Koko in Pokemon Sun and Moon, as well as Mesprit at Lake Verity in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. So is there a chance that we will find a legendary Pokemon here after all the rumours about Nessie? For those who don't know the story, basically there had been rumours for a long time that there is like a dinosaur creature called Nessie that inhabits Loch Ness, and we've got that one picture to go off. But for me, this would be a great setting for a legendary or mythical Pokemon. It wouldn't surprise me if we just find Lapras here though instead. That would be kind of a troll move, but again, Lapras would make sense in terms of looking like Nessie. And also, we've actually seen this area in the trailer, as we can see the female protagonist approach the lock where the benches are, and also the house next to it, which we can see on the Galar region map. So I am very certain this is based off Loch Ness. Now following Loch Ness is actually another loch. Now this wasn't too easy to pinpoint down as to which one it was, however I'm fairly certain with my final deduction. The majority of Scotland's lochs are on the west, and there was one loch that was south of Loch Ness, and this was Loch Tummel. Now personally, I've not heard of this loch, it's not the most famous out of the lochs, but when you look at the Galar region map and look at the real life photos of Loch Tummel, it pretty much looks identical. You see little islands in the loch on the Galar region map, and when you look at real life images of Loch Tummel, you can see that it shares the similarities. So for me, this is definitely based off Loch Tummel. I'm looking forward to seeing the ideas that Game Freak have for Loch Tummel and what kind of significance this place has. Now finally, we're moving on to our first major city, and at first when I saw this in the trailer I thought it was London or an industrial city in the north of England, but it turns out this is actually the Scottish capital, Edinburgh. So there are many reasons as to why the city is based off Edinburgh, such as the train from Fort William connecting the two areas, it being located south of Loch Tummel, which geographically that makes a lot of sense, and of course we can see a clock tower rising out of the city, and this is based off the Balmoral Hotel clock tower, and when you see pictures of the two, you can definitely tell that this is Edinburgh. Now the red buildings was a bit of a red herring, I guess, no pun intended, and I couldn't really understand why, but I think it is because there are quite a few red sandstone buildings that are found in Edinburgh, so that's the only clue that I can go off for now. We've also seen a little bit of the city in the trailer we got yesterday, and it seems to be very, very industrial with lots of steam and gears, kind of like just a steampunk kind of vibe to it. So that's why I thought it was an industrial city in England at first, but I've looked into the industrial history of Edinburgh and I can't really find too much to say why it is this way. So hopefully we'll see a bit more of it in the next trailer and see if we've got any more like hints as to why they portrayed Edinburgh this way. But I like it personally, I think it's a really cool looking city. Next we'll be heading to our first English city, and this is one that I'm probably the most unsure on. I believe that the central city is Manchester, and I'm only basing this off the geography of the map of the Galar region, as well as the surrounding areas. It's really hard to make out what this city is, and it might not even be a city at all, but I'm just going off the theory that it probably is a city, and we can see a dragon sculpture down below, so it must have some significance to dragon Pokemon. Now the reason why I think this place is Manchester is because of the next city, which is found on the right hand side of it. Now this cold area of the Galar region is definitely based off Liverpool for 3 reasons. Firstly, geographically, it matches up when the region is rotated to represent Great Britain, so it is in the right spot. Also, we can see one building that seems to heavily resemble the Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral. Shout out to my dad for noticing that one. We were looking at this map for like 2 hours last night and he noticed that this building looked very familiar to one in Liverpool, and there is one more clue that makes this, for me, definitely be resembling Liverpool, and this is that when we look at the building we can see 2 statues on either side that seem to be some type of bird Pokemon. Now this is very significant as Liverpool is famous for their liver birds, which are symbols of the city. So for me, this is definitely Liverpool, and that's why I think the city from earlier is Manchester, since they are very close to each other. Just above the Liverpool-like city is an island that might look like it's just there to fill in the scenery, but believe me, this is very deliberate from Game Freak. This island is based off the Isle of Man, which completely matches up in terms of its shape and geographical placement. Hopefully we can visit it in-game, and I think there is a real possibility of that because there is a port town between Edinburgh and Manchester, which so far I've been unable to pinpoint as to where this takes its inspiration from, but anyway, we can see a boat and it wouldn't surprise me if we can take that boat to the Isle of Man. Now going towards the northwest of the region there is a forest with glowing mushrooms. Now for me this has to be Sherwood Forest, which is located in Nottinghamshire and is world famous for its association with the legend of Robin Hood. Geographically, when we flip the region, the forest matches up with where Sherwood Forest would be, and Sherwood Forest is a pretty big tourist location in England, attracting tourists from around the world. So for me, this has to be Sherwood Forest because it's famous enough to be included, and it's the only forest that comes to mind, and the fact that it's geographically in the right place, for me, there could be no other forest. Okay, so now it's time to move on to the most obvious real life location of them all. The city at the top is clearly based on London, as we can see Big Ben, the Houses of Parliament below it, Piccadilly Circus, which has the big screens, and Buckingham Palace, which I think that is Buckingham Palace, it's hard to say. On the right hand side it is definitely Wembley Stadium, which I'll be talking about in another video soon, and a tall building in the middle which is most likely based off the Shard. So I think we can all confidently say that this is definitely London, and the Galar region is based off both Scotland and England. Now you might have noticed I didn't talk about every single area in the Galar region, and this is because there are some outliers on this map. For example, the big hill figure that we saw in the trailer is based off the Cerne Abyss Giant in Dorset, which if we were being geographically accurate like most of these areas in the Galar region, it would be somewhere top right of the region past London, as it is located in the southwest of England. Also, this town which we've seen in the trailer has some stone monuments similar to Stonehenge, which again would be located in the south of England. Now, since it looks like we can't go any more south of London, or in this case I guess north in the region of Galar, it seems like Game Freak have brought these iconic landmarks and brought them together in a little town just randomly in the region, and this most likely would be located in North Yorkshire, so this town seems to be fictional compared to the others I've mentioned previously. Additionally, there is an area left of Manchester which I don't know what this is at all. It could be based off a real life area in England, but just like the last town, it could be very loosely based and could just be a fictional area. If you guys have any ideas what this place could be, let me know in the comments below. And that is pretty much everything I have found so far of the Galar region. So there you have it, that is my real life locations in the Galar region video. Honestly, one of my favourite videos I've made in a long time. I've loved researching it, and I don't know, I loved putting the effort into this video. So if you guys feel the same way and you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button down below. It's super appreciated, and it helps the channel and video out more than you could ever know. And if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sword and Shield, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit the subscribe button below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation. And yeah, that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope you have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!